I watched Obsession, and honestly, this is one of those movies where the concept sounds like it could be stupid, but the movie commits so hard that it actually becomes kind of amazing. Because on paper, this is basically, what if a guy made a wish for the girl he likes to love him back, and that could have easily turned into some lazy, creepy thriller or some basic horror movie where everyone just starts screaming for no reason. But Obsession is way smarter than that. Before I get into it, like and follow if you're into movie reviews where we actually say what we think. So the movie is basically about Bear, this awkward guy who is in love with Nikki, his friend and coworker. He wants to tell her how he feels, but he keeps messing it up because he's nervous, insecure, and honestly kind of pathetic in a very human way. Then he buys this weird wish box, makes a wish for Nikki to love him more than anyone in the world, and at first it feels like his dream came true. But then the movie starts asking the real question, what if getting exactly what you wanted was the worst thing that could happen to you? And that is why this movie works so well for me. Obsession is not scary just because Nikki becomes obsessed. It is scary because Bear slowly realizes he didn't actually want love. He wanted control. He wanted the fantasy version of love where someone chooses him without him having to risk rejection, without him having to be honest, and without him having to deal with the fact that maybe Nikki just didn't feel that way. That is what makes the movie hit. The beginning does a really good job making Bear feel sympathetic without pretending he's innocent. You do feel bad for him when he's practicing his confession and getting roasted for being too intense. You understand why he likes Nikki. She's funny, she's close with him, and she clearly means something to him. But the movie also shows you that Bear is already turning Nikki into this idea in his head before the wish even happens. And once the wish kicks in, that's when the movie gets nasty in the best way. At first, Nikki suddenly wanting him feels exciting to Bear. She comes over, she wants to be close to him, she says the things he wanted to hear. But very quickly, it stops feeling romantic and starts feeling wrong. She's lying about her dad having cancer. She's acting jealous. She's wearing his clothes because they smell like him. She's saying she can't live without him. And Bear goes from thinking, this is everything I wanted, to realizing, oh no, I did something really, really bad. That shift is what makes the movie so good. Because the horror is not just Nikki is crazy now. The horror is that Nikki's free will has basically been hijacked by Bear's wish. And the movie does not let him escape that. Every time he tries to act like he's the victim, the movie reminds you, no, he caused this, he wished for this, he opened the box, he wanted her love without her choice. That's a strong idea. And I love how the movie keeps making the wish feel worse and worse. Nikki cooking the cat is insane. That moment is so messed up because it starts as this darkly funny, what the hell scene. But underneath it, it's showing how broken her idea of love has become. She thinks she's doing something caring. She thinks she's giving him something. But it's horrifying because her love has turned into complete devotion with no boundaries. And then the party scene, that is where the movie really snaps. When Nikki kills Sarah, that is the point where there is no more pretending this is just weird or uncomfortable. This is not a quirky magic wish gone wrong anymore. This is full nightmare mode. And what makes that scene work is that Bear can't just blame Nikki. Nikki is the weapon, but Bear pulled the trigger the moment he made that wish. Real talk, this movie works because it understands that obsession is not love turned up too high. Obsession is love with the person removed from it. That's the whole movie. Bear doesn't love Nikki as much as he loves the idea of being loved by Nikki. And once the wish gives him that, he finally sees how empty and terrifying that fantasy actually is. I also really liked how the movie balances comedy with horror. Some of the dialogue is genuinely funny. The friends feel messy and awkward in a believable way. The whole trivia night energy, the weird store, the one wish Willow stuff, the way everyone talks over each other, it gives the movie personality. It doesn't feel like characters waiting around for the plot to happen. It feels like a group of people who already had lives before this nightmare started. And that matters because when things go bad, it actually feels like something is being ruined. The one thing I'll say is this movie is definitely not for everyone. It gets weird, it gets gross, it gets uncomfortable. And there are moments where the chaos is so intense that I can see some people checking. But for me, that was part of the point. The movie is supposed to feel like a wish rotting in real time, and I respect that, because a weaker version of this movie would have made Bear a clean, innocent victim. This movie doesn't. It lets him be scared, but it also lets him be guilty, and that is so much more interesting by the end when he's trying to find a way out and the answer is basically, as long as you live, the wish stays. That's when the movie fully locks in, because now Bear has to face the ugliest version of what he asked for. He wanted someone to love him forever, and now forever feels like a prison. That's a great horror idea. So yeah, Obsession really surprised me. It's funny, disturbing, uncomfortable, and way more clever than I expected. It takes a simple wish concept and turns it into a story about selfish love, control, guilt, and the danger of wanting someone so badly that you forget they're supposed to have a choice. For me, Obsession is a 9.0 out of 10, not because it's perfect, but because it takes a creepy idea and actually follows it all the way down. This is the kind of horror movie that understands the scariest part is not the magic box, it's the wish. That's my review. Let me know what you thought of Obsession. And if you like movie reviews that don't sound like a press release, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe.